looks more styled without me having to do anything, because I do not like fixing my hair. Oh, and I got all that dead shit cut out, so it just feels so much better. My fingers just go through it instead of like locking up at the end. Oh, it's day 2 of me taking duloxetine 3 times a day, throughout the day, morning, midday, and evening. I just took my second pill. It's about 4 o'clock. It does cause me to not be hungry, which then makes me kind of lightheaded and nauseous, so I gotta remember to eat. Excuse me. I just ate at like 2 o'clock. Excuse me. I have 2 more families to see before I'm done with my work day. I should be done by 7, probably. Just getting my hair done, and the funny thing is I walked into the salon on my lunch at the mall, just hoping, okay, if they can see me now, I'm definitely getting my hair cut, but if they can't, fuck it, whatever. And I saw these 2, which look like Asian kids, just sitting in a hair booth, and I'm like, hey, is anyone here? And then one of them went to go get their mom, and I just assumed, oh, Asian lady, right? And she comes out, and I'm like, wait a minute, she's not really speaking English correctly, and I'm like, ¿habla español? She's like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, totally, talk to me in Spanish, because I could tell she was struggling with the right words to say in English. And she's like, oh, creía que eres Filipina, and I'm like, yeah, I get that a lot. It's funny, she thought I was Filipino, and I thought she was Asian too. But we're both speaking Spanish. Anyways, when you're in the chair, people start asking you questions, and this woman starts telling this story about a friend of hers who occasionally takes care of these little kids who are her brother's kids, and the brother's mom is doing drugs, and the dad must be too, because the kids like go days or weeks without being bathed and barely even eat because the parents are on drugs, and they spend all the money they get from the state on drugs. And I'm just like sitting in the chair like, holy shit, do I tell her what I do for a living? And she's like, she keeps telling her friend that, dude, you're the aunt. Don't you care? You should be saying something. Call, get them some help, get them removed. And then I was like, okay. So I told her, you can call too. And she's like, I just need to get enough information. I'm like, okay, so all you need is, as much as you can get, phone number, address, school they go to, names, whatever, so that CPS can actually find them. And she's like, I can do it anonymously, right? I'm like, yeah. And I tell her I work with families with CPS, and it's whatever's in the best interest of the child. If it is best for the child to be removed from their home, then yes, you're helping them. If it is best for the child to stay in their home, then yes, you help them. You help their parents figure their shit out so that they don't lose their kids, right? If the situation is so bad that the parents just can't get their shit together and would rather do drugs, then yes, put them in a home where there's no drugs, So we'll see. I gave her the CPS intake line and my card. She said it was in Tacoma, and I don't work in Tacoma, so they can't call CPS and be like, hey, can we work with Zordia? Because I'm in Snohomish County, way on the other side of Seattle. I'm on the north end, and they're in the south end. But, and then the woman that's the lady's friend that is doing my hair, she starts talking about, she asked me, oh, how long have you been doing what you're doing? And I was like, only for 3 years, a little over 3 years. My last job was with the National Suicide Prevention Hotline. And then she starts telling me about how her daughter was being bullied and was suicidal, and how they got help and got counseling, and they were trying to give her medication, and she was like telling her daughter, you don't need medication, you can do this, you're strong enough to do this on your own. And I was like, well, you can't tell her what she needs because you're not in her mind, you know. And she was like, you're right, I'm not walking in her shoes. I don't know. She's like, because I don't know how to help her, I don't know what to do. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's why there's therapists and doctors, you know, because you don't know. And yeah, medication might help, you know, just because you don't believe in it doesn't mean it won't work. So I gave the ladies my cards, and I'm just like, well, unfortunately, there aren't hardly any providers that speak Spanish that do what I do. But here's the CPS intake line, and call if you need anything. Like, I don't know what I can't do anything for them unless they call CPS, and that's kind of frustrating. And it's pushing me more to want to start my own bilingual peer support program. There are so many families out there that speak Spanish that don't know what to do, that are dealing with all the same issues as English speaking people deal with. They just have less support and less people to direct them and guide them in the right direction. So that urge for me to go get my hair done at that very specific spot was obviously meant for me to experience this experience, which may lead me on my path. I've been thinking about it for a while, so stay tuned.